let's hope this video records better than the last one did. Nope, there's all bubbles. So, that scramble I told you all about that I never cooked. And yes, it is a Thursday. Yes, I am doing a cooking episode. Breaking my own rules already. Reason is I've been up for freaking ever today. I can't sleep. So, and I wasn't feeling my best yesterday. That's why I didn't cook it yesterday. So, get to cook it today. Meh. Okay. So, we're going to be doing our sesame or sunflower seed oil. Oh, hey, look at that. Fresh bottle, as y'all see me opening it. Got just everything. Yeah, I just need to pull that down, that's right. Okay, so for this scramble, I'm going to be using red potatoes. Oh, that's pretty cool. No, I don't peel my potatoes. And the potatoes are getting cut up last. Gonna be doing more bacon. Got a couple of eggs here. Got our shallot for the onion. And give me a moment and I'll grab out my dill weed. Dill weed. Pepper. Salt. And the reason I just hid whatever I put back up there is that's not for today's episode. Yeah. Huh. Sounds like something was shifting around up in my cupboard. There we go. So let's find a knife. Quite acceptable. Oh, hey, look, somebody decided to return the wooden one. That was very nice of them. Jackasses. Today I'm eating Almond Joys. I might disappear, grab some Whoppers, some Heat Bars, Halloween candy. And what's left of my bangers and mash. Okay, so we're gonna start with our onion. Now all of this is gonna get cooked up at the same time. Well, it's gonna get cooked up in stages, in a very specific order of those stages. But eventually this is all going in the same pan and will be in the same pan at the same time. And we're going to do cheese. You know, I thought I'd just add a little cheese into this one. Ow, I just cut myself. How did that knife get stuck like that? That's not a big cut. I'm not worried about it. Kind of annoyed about it, but not worried about it. Just cutting up the shallots right now. Next, I'll cut the bacon. Yummy bacon. Okay, time to cut up the bacon. Now, I like cutting my bacon into squares, but you can, if you want to cut your bacon up more, that's perfectly fine. Up to you. See? Bacon. Bacon! I realize I'm being very quiet today. Probably because I don't have a lot on my mind at the moment. Usually when I'm talking, it's because I got something on my mind that I'm trying to work through. It doesn't necessarily mean that what I'm talking about is what I'm trying to work through. It could just be that I'm talking for the sake of talking, just so that I can work through it. But, I don't know. Might be because I also just got out recently. Well, anyways. Hey. The reason I like doing the prep work on camera and not just showing you the cooking is it seems that every major cooking show, they don't show you how they cut it up, so you don't know if they've done it themselves, they've had their stooges do it, what. So, and the one that they pull out of the oven off of like daytime TV cooking shows. Oh, while we were wet, so we mixed everything and we're gonna put it in the oven. But we made this one earlier, and yeah, here it is. And you can't tell if they've cooked it, if they've had somebody else cook it, or what. So you have no idea where this whole other dish came from. You don't know if it's going to turn out looking like it did on the show. Unless it's one of those cold dishes. But any dish that they have to cook and then put in the oven and say, oh, now it has to bake for 30 minutes, but we've already got one done for you. Yeah. You already had one done. Yeah, I believe that. Okay. And the last prep is just my eggs. looks like a bit of eggshell got in here when I was breaking open these eggs. That's what I'm trying to do, is get it out. But it doesn't want to cooperate with me. Come on, you rat bastard. Problem is, trying to get shit out of egg white is a pain in the ass. There we go, got it. Now time to wash our hands. Now, eggs are not something I joke around with. Neither is chicken. That's why you see me, you saw me just go wash my hands after digging around some egg yolk, and that's because, well, that's just dangerous. In fact, I might have to wash my hands again. Alright. I think 4 eggs is enough for today. Alright, so now we need our whisk. We need salt. We need pepper. Gonna be well done on the pepper. There we go, pepper. And our dill weed. Now, because it's still out from prepping on the last episode, I don't buy spices I don't use. So the Caribbean seasoning, I didn't buy that. I don't use it. My parents bought it somewhere, and they gave it to me when I moved out because they never used it. So I told them, well, I'd figure out some way to use it, and well, this is the first time I used it, and I moved out a year ago. So right now, we're whisking our eggs. See? Whisked. Gonna go quickly toss those last 2 eggs back into the fridge. And I'll be back to grab my orange juice. Okay, here's my orange juice. Yum. Okay, so what are we going to do now? Oh yeah, we're going to put the oil in the pan. And we can get it open. Ah, Jesus Christ. Triple sealed, really, guys? Hey. We used a fair amount of oil because, well, we're going to want to coat these are stupid. We're going to coat the potatoes in it once we start cooking the potatoes. So now we're going to start cutting up our potatoes. And because I don't want them to take too long, I'm going to cut them up fairly small. The thicker you cut the potatoes, the longer it's going to take them to cook. And I ain't wanting to be here for hours on end cooking. Okay, there's one potato done. See, I cut my potatoes in half. Then I cut them into bars, and then I cross-cut. And you guys probably know how to cut up potatoes. Yes, I realize that. See? Potato bar. Yeah, excuse me. There's 2 potatoes done, and I'm still filming. Good. Gotta check on that. So nice big red potatoes. Now, you may be wondering why they call them red potatoes when they don't look red on the inside, and that's just the skin that gives them the name red potatoes. That, and they typically tend to grow pretty small. So, if it's a small potato with the red skin, chances are pretty good that it's a red potato. Normally I use russet potatoes for this, so once again, this is another experiment. And there's all the potatoes cooked. Cut. So now we're going to heat up our oil at high and wait. Yum. Then we're going to go put our bacon away because I just realized it's still out. Now, I'm going to do something y'all going to find gross. Or at least some of y'all find gross. But the way I check to see if my oil's done is I spit in it. Or if my oil's ready to cook with. I spit in my oil. Mainly because, well, I'm going to be boiling, more or less boiling out any bacteria that I might have in my mouth. Man, I'm hungry. Just joking, I'm not going to spit in it. The water will be just fine. Nope, not ready yet. Nope, we're getting close. Oh, that's good enough. Time to put our potatoes in there. And time to move you guys over. Hey. So now what we're going to do is we're going to brown our potatoes. We want to cook them in the oil, making sure to coat the potatoes. And we let them sit for a bit. Now, that felt lovely. Now we do want to keep our potatoes on the move fairly frequently so that they don't burn onto the pan. Even with a nonstick pan, they will get stuck onto that pan. Like mine seem to be doing right now. Despite the fact this is an organic pan and they shouldn't be sticking to it. Yeah, I think I made a good choice with that sunflower seed oil. So because my pan seems to somehow have a bubble in the center of it, don't know how that happened. I do occasionally have to prop the handle up to make sure it heats evenly. Although that bubble seems to have gotten worse. That bubble got worse, so that handle warped. I'm saying the bubble got worse. Now we just want to make sure our potatoes get cooked all the way through. And as you cook the potatoes, you will see them actually start to change. So now I can get one up to show you. You can see how this one, I don't know if you can actually see that or not. Let me take a look at it. Nope, you can't see it really well. Maybe because this is a crappy camera. I think maybe there. Can you see it there? Yeah, you can kind of see it there. So this part along here looks pretty well done, but this part here, not so much. So now I'm going to keep it at a high temperature until pretty late in the cooking. And by pretty late, I mean I'm going to start turning it down as I add in the other ingredients so that I don't overcook the eggs and bacon. I'll sit for a bit. And let them sit for a bit again. Stir them, make sure nothing's sit too long in the middle. That way nothing has a chance to burn. Not bad. I might continue just to do sunflower seed oil with this recipe. clearly that piece ain't done yet. Okay, now we're gonna let out some of that oil. Because we're gonna toss in our bacon. And we're going to turn down our heat. Now the reason I used sunflower oil, I've never used it before, but the reason for me using it now, well, other than the fact that they were out of what I usually use, which is the peanut oil, is sunflower seed oil has a higher smoke point, which means that it can sustain higher temperatures without turning into a smoky mess and setting off fire alarms. And I turn this way down. It's now at roughly about half heat. So we're going to cook this till the bacon's almost done. Then we're going to add in our onions. To cook for a little bit before we add in the final thing, the eggs. And by onions, I mean the shallot that we cut up. I'll be right back. Cheese! Yummy. Cooking nicely. No, my friend, I am not yet doing what you wanted. I will get to it though, I promise. So with our eggs, before we add them in, you want to make sure that they don't separate too much. So every now and then, just give them a quick whisk or something. Now, I'm sure you guys have noticed, a lot of my stuff seems to only be for one person. That's because I'm only cooking for myself. Now, the double recipe and the bangers and mash, well, I kind of overdid it on those. I don't know what I was thinking, but I should not have done them those two that big. Well, live and learn. And then eat loves. I'm slowly. And normally, this makes enough for me, but at least at 3 eggs. 4 eggs, you could break it down and make it two. Depends on how much you eat. It really does. I generally eat a lot, so this amount might be just one really big breakfast for me. But yeah, it just depends on how much you eat. I mean, heck, I know people that those steaks would have been 2 meals. Okay, there we go. Gonna add in the shallots now. We're gonna turn up the heat a little bit though.